Let's begin with our meditation, our relaxation. If I were a rapper, I'd come up with a few other words. Let's get rid of our preoccupation. Let's all prepare ourselves for yet another holy spiritual experience with each other. So we're all here, but let's all really get here. Let's just let that first real deep expiration take place. And when that breath runs out and that expiration, just be there with it. Bring that next breath in. There's a sacred moment of stillness after that deep expiration before you inspire. It's something, just take a couple seconds and just sit in it, be in it. And practice without gas, without a sense of urgency. Draw that breath in. Knowing it's there, knowing it's always going to be there. And then back into the expiration. As we all set this intention, you just be completely present in all the ways that are necessary. Allow everything in you that needs to be healed, changed, or transformed by this experience tonight to come up into a ready, get set form. Want to walk into inevitable change with our hearts open, our minds open, and our bodies relaxed. About there, I can feel the group. We're just about there. Let's all just get to a little bit more on that expiration this time. Yeah, now we're ready. Everybody open your eyes and look at all the people you love all around you. People that love you. Before we get to our reflection and our review, as you know, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be on vacation the next 2 weeks, and I was on a trip visiting some family in Chicago, and I was just watching the amazing comments that were coming through on practice and people that were sharing things and meditating on the whole experience, and it became very clear to me that next week I want you all to have the class without me. Because the whole purpose of this class is for it to fully function without my presence. the teachings run the class. And this is an opportunity for all of you to practice that process without me being here. So it has to go on without me here. The week after that, the holiday weekend, so we will take that week off, but I really want you all to be here next week. I want you all to follow the protocol that we have in place. I want you to do it without me. I want you to just let me be here in spirit, and I want it to be taped. I want it to be put on the sites. I want everything to happen just like I'm not here. That's the best. It's in the highest good and the best for everything. It'll be a wonderful practice because we'll get a chance to see where are the gaps, where are the lackings, where is it better without me here? And we need to take a look at that. We need to be honest about that. We're very young in this process, but I just think it was not even a choice. It was just made very clear to me they need to have the class without you. I spoke through you that the class is not about you, so because you're not there, the class should go on. And that's the first opportunity for that to happen is next week. So please come to class next week. Please be with each other. Please go on like I'm not here. And that means the end of the class too. Create the chamber of love. Call each other in. I don't want one thing to be eliminated because I'm not here, because that's not what this is about. This is not about me. It's about practice. So that was just a very clear moment. So I was actually really excited to tell you all about that. As much as it's going to bring up some things within you, it's time for it to happen or it wouldn't be happening. So we have to embrace everything, not change the teachings and the purpose behind them for any one individual. We have the class when other people aren't here, right? Okay? So why would I be any more important than anyone else who's not here? It should all function autonomously without me being here. Because I will be here, no matter where I am, from 6:30 to 7:30, I'll be here. You guys will feel me all over the place. And that'll be pretty fun too for you guys to have a sense of my presence here without me being here. So I ask that all of you agree to that, and you find your best effort to be here and to bring your best to the group and offer it in a space of leadership to others, okay? So how's that sound, everybody? Does it make sense? Yeah. It's just the way it has to be, because wouldn't it be a shame if for some reason I weren't here any longer and it all stopped? Wouldn't that just be a shame? Especially with what we see happening every week, and we're going to talk about that. Okay? What's happening is, I mean, that's just the silly numbers that we went from, 0 members on our Facebook partnership page to 80 members, and not that we're counting, but that's incredible that people are tuning in. And now, what's really cool is we have people that have been tuning in that feel like they just want to be here. That tuning in was great, but now they want to be here live and have that experience as well. So that's just the dynamic that's starting to happen with the group. That's not an individual dynamic. We all know that. That's a group dynamic. So that's pretty amazing. Last visit was an incredibly powerful visit. I'm going back. I don't know about all of you, but I'm going back and trying to watch them all from the beginning again, so I can just get a sense of the progression of things and how it's developing. And I went back and watched the first one and the second one, and I didn't have time to watch any more. But that was just, do yourself a favor and go back and watch them from the beginning, and just get a sense of where the group was at. Just 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, and where the group is at now, and get a sense of where the healings were at, where we were guided to start the healings, and where the healings are at now. It's just miraculous, the acceleration and the change that's going on, and the willingness for people to join in and get into the situation. I had the opportunity to see Quincy. She came in with her mother, and her mother's going to be in the chamber tonight. So, which we're just so happy to have her here. And Quincy, I would just like you to tell everybody in your own words what that experience was like for you when you came into the chamber and had that experience. Just like you told me, just tell them.
It was powerful and it was very moving. It just felt comfortable. And,
yeah. And you guys remember that she stepped in to help bring an end to inflammation. You remember that? And just as a matter of just honesty, okay, how has your knee been doing since you were here last week?
It's been better.
It's been better. Okay. What's that?
I played tennis.
She played tennis today. So, yeah, think about that, you guys. I mean, something crazy amazing is going on with us coming together in this pure space of love and leaving our judgments at the door. And just saying, let's just see what love can do. Let's just see what good old-fashioned love for each other can do. It doesn't need to be in any particular context. Let's just love each other. And that's what this practice is all about. It's like, let's just show people what loving each other can do. And we're going to talk to some other people, and I want to talk to Darlene. Darlene had an experience, and what I want her to do is I want her to tell us about her experience, okay? And then I want to give you guys an explanation of the experience so that you understand as you step into the chamber, or if you go through an experience where you have something similar, you'll understand what it is. Now, again, we're a family, and Darlene reached out and called and emailed, and she received wonderful information and support that helped her. But Darlene, I want you all to just hear what happened to someone that stepped into the chamber. Okay, it's just incredible. So Darlene, tell us what happened to you after you were in the chamber as you went through the next couple days of your life.
I emailed to Sarah the following day because I told her it felt like a bus hit me, and I couldn't really muster up a whole lot of activity in my life. But that's because I've been under a lot of stress lately, and I believe from the explanations that I got that my body just needed to rest, that I've been running on, a deficit, and that I hadn't been giving myself a chance to relax and rest and so on. So I was just immobilized, and it kind of scared me. I thought, what's going on here, because I'm usually up and doing stuff and running around and taking care of things, and I couldn't do any of that. I just couldn't. I had to rest, drink plenty of water and take it easy and be good to myself.
And how did you feel after a couple days?
I felt a lot better. I mean, I felt a whole lot better after I was in the chamber because all the stress that I've been carrying around kind of melted away, and I could feel myself breathing, which under a lot of stress I don't do, and that doesn't help you to relax, so it just melted.
Have you continued to breathe a little easier and feel a little less stressed?
And it's like your mind is able to work a little better because you don't have all this stress on your head.
Okay. So you guys, she went through what's just what's on a physical level. It's just the love we gave her rebalanced her autonomic nervous system, which means she came out of a fight-flight mode, which she had been in for a long, long time. Okay. And she went into what's called parasympathetic dominance. That's when our body goes into a healing mode, it comes out of fight-flight and it goes into a resting healing mode, okay? And when it does, it's only concerned about resting and healing and taking care of itself. So it doesn't expend any energy trying to survive in this world, it wants to heal itself. So it literally, she was rebalanced into a place of peace, her body basically immobilized herself and said, no more, I need to rest. She was released of that egoic pattern of having to take care of everybody, and she went into almost like a suspended animation for a couple days, and now she's emerging back out of that, and she's feeling much, much better. But that's healing. So we want to, these healings that are going to continue to happen, okay, they're very powerful. Okay, and she hasn't had a lot of work done by me or in the practice, so this was an example of if you have an experience like that, okay, just reach out to someone in the family here and say, hey, I'm going through this. What can I do? And we'll help each other through these things, and we'll be there for each other to go through these things. So you don't need to be worried or concerned when that happens. It's when you have an experience because a lot of people are loving you so intensely, you just know that it's good. But we have to be honest that we are very ignorant to the full power of what unconditional love can do to heal. We see the miracles happening, but we don't quite understand all that's happening as love heals us. So we have to be willing to go through the uncomfortable moments that are a little bit unnerving, and trust that those around us who have gone through this can help us get through it and say, I remember when I went through that, you'll be better, drink water, rest, or call on me to give my input whenever I can through the Facebook page or through emailing. Because I'm telling you, we're only going to see these miracles get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And she's starting a brand new place in her life now. She won't ever go back to that place she was again. She'll try, out of habit, possibly. But she'll feel it and she'll go, I just can't do that. There's something in me that just says I can't do that anymore. I have to take care of myself as well as taking care of others. Everyone saw we're going to continue to keep it anonymous, but everyone saw Anne-Marie posted the post for the other person who came into the one that was hesitant. We know who she is, but she wishes to remain nameless. But we know who she is, and she's also had an amazing week of transformation after that as well. How have you been since you were in the chamber?
It's hard to explain. At first I felt very euphoric, and the next morning I woke up and it was like, something was weird with my foot, and it hurt really bad, and it's like the ball of my foot. And until I heard this lady saying and what you would explain, I think that was part of it, because I saw the love that my husband has given me. And I mean, I've always realized it, but the care and just everything that I felt from everybody else, it's like, it's just amazing. I can't explain how I feel. I still feel like I'm high from this, if this is what you want to say.
Right.
I mean, it's just an amazing feel. I wish everybody could feel that way.
Everybody is going to feel it, Everybody is going to feel it. Everybody. We're here to give everybody an opportunity to feel it. We're just demonstrating it for the world and saying, hey, if you want to be involved in this chamber, come and be a part of it. And they don't even have to be here to be a part of it, okay? We're going to start having things in the chamber where, tonight we're actually going to bring somebody into the chamber that's not even here. We're going to bring somebody who needs healing and peace right now. We're going to bring them into the chamber, and we're going to set the intention for them. And we're going to start setting bigger and bigger intentions of healing and love for the world. So we're going to transcend. We're starting with an individual working on an individual, and within 6-7 weeks, we're already a group working on an individual, and then we're going to transcend that and become a group working on the world through an individual. Quincy wasn't coming in just for her niece. She was coming in for all of us who have inflammation. All of us, if we pay attention, have been a little less inflamed and a little less punitive and more loving to ourselves since she stepped in and held that space. Remember, anyone's healing, okay, is everyone's healing. Who else was in last time? Was anyone else in? I can't remember. Oh, Sarah.
I hate to be, I just don't have that, I didn't have that experience.
Yeah.
And it's been a really difficult week.
Yeah.
And it's been it didn't feel like a healing week.
Right.
To me.
So what you have to admit is you're blocking it.
Yeah.
You're blocking it. Because if everyone is experiencing it and you're not, you're blocking it. There's nothing wrong with blocking it, but there's a block. Or you would. Because everyone does it and you not, for no other reason except that you're not. So we have to look at that, because there are people that are, for whatever reason, blocking or unable to let it in. The biggest reason is because they've suffered deep pain. Deep pain. And when you let love in, you have to trust it to heal the deep pain that you may feel. The deep pain you may feel, that it will resolve. So when you're ready, you'll let it in, and you will go through that deep, deep, deep pain, but you'll have to trust that love will heal it. Until you don't, if you don't trust that love will heal the deepest pains, then you won't let love in to do that, because it just doesn't work unless you let it in. And you have to many times experience your deepest pain to let love heal the deepest pain. But you gotta keep being open to it like you are. And you can't feel bad about being blocked. You gotta just know that love, love will break the hardest piece of granite. You just have to let it continue to do its work. You understand? And the reason that you didn't have the same week as other people did is because of that pattern in your system. And we have to continue to love Sarah and embrace Sarah and know that Sarah's here to be one of us and to go through this experience. And there will be the day when we ask Sarah, Sarah, what was it like for you? And Sarah will say, I'm so happy to say that it was this. And Sarah, you look forward to that moment as much as anybody, don't you? We have to be committed to our practice. All that Sarah requires is continual exposure to unconditional love for that to be fixed. That's it. That's all she requires. And do we have the ability to give her an infinite exposure to that unconditional love so she's through that barrier?
Yes.
Are we committed to being that for everybody who wants to show up and be a part of this?
Yes.
Are we committed to being that as long as they want to show up?
Yes.
Yes.
Amen. So you just keep coming and we're just going to keep loving you. But we're going to win. And eventually you're going to be able to have that same honest comment. Remember, we want honesty here. I love that Sarah's honest. I love that she says what she says. Because when you're honest and you say it, it comes across to everybody who's watching us. And when you say it and you're honest, and when you say it and you're honest, and when you say it and you're honest, people know we're being honest. And I've told Sarah, and I keep telling her that for whatever reason, she's being called to be an example of this. And when her transformation happens and she's able to have that experience, there will be millions and millions of other people that are having the experience because you committed to showing up until it was possible for you. So you continue to be committed and determined. You understand? We love you for that. You're an incredible example of that. It's hard. And she's not alone. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to start watching us that are going to have the same experience. And Sarah's going to be one that's going to help lead them. So let's move on to our questions. Thank you, everyone, for your input, your honesty, and we got to be that way. We're a real group. We're just real. That's what makes it powerful.
Excuse me, Dr. Keith, one other thing I did want to say with this
Sure.
is that I debated about coming and Tom was still going to come, and I said, no, I have to be there because I know that love there is going to make my foot better, and I know I'm going to feel better. So I had to be here. It was, I knew I would get better. I mean, everybody's love, it's just, it helps. It's amazing. So
Isn't it?
Yes. And I'm glad I can say that and actually tell everybody I feel that. I mean, it's the truth.
Remember I told you guys when I first started teaching these classes that I'm just the one to bring the message and talk about it, but you're all the best ones to spread the message. And you're the best one to spread that message. You're the best one to spread that message. You're the best one to spread that message. You're all so much more powerful at spreading this message to other people than I'll ever be. Because your space of transition that you're in is perfect for so many other who are in that space. So I need all of you to continue to show up and represent the exact space of transition and consciousness that you're in. It's precious. It's absolutely precious. The group would not be nearly as effective if you don't come. Because we represent a cross-section of consciousness that's interested in this change, right? God chose all of us to be a part of this, all of us that are watching, and all of us that are showing up. We're that cross-section that for whatever reason God has chosen to represent this shift and this change. And so it's very important that we really embrace where we're at as we come, because that is a representation of millions of people that can see themselves in every one of us and identify and say, God, I struggle with that too. I'm so glad Sarah continues to go because she gives me hope that if she can continue to do it, so can I. And that's just precious. So, the same thing for Chris. Kat?
From the point of view of the chain of love that makes the wall, the chain of wall. When I stood up here by myself with you, my knees went weak, right, when the energy went through. And I've had the same experience every week in that chain that makes that wall of the chamber. my knees get weak. It's like the love is passing through. And I came in here last week very sad, and I came out of here very glad. And it was because of all of you. So thank you. We love you.
Isn't that, like when I hear someone say that, that just makes everything that is coming around this time in the practice just really worth it to me. That she's having the same experience because all of you are with me that she did when it was just her and me. I just want all this to go on at some point when I'm not here. You know, and I'm not thinking I'm going to go anywhere anytime soon, you understand? I just want it to all go on when all of us are even no longer here. You know, it's about, when we say things like that, you know, it just really sets the stage of, you know, I have people that again are, and we had it's your cousin, right, Sarah?
Katie Rose.
Katie Rose. I mean, did everyone read that post on Facebook about that Katie Rose sent about how she watched she was dealing with her child and crying, and she did anyone? I mean, phenomenal about how she's following the practice, and she's all the way down in Florida, and she's following the practice, and she was able to meditate on the practice and follow his teachings in the middle of the night when her baby was crying, and literally like an hour later the baby woke up once and then fell back asleep, and within a day or two the baby doesn't even wake up at all at night anymore.
Yeah. And it was all trusting her intuition to not go in when she really, really wanted to, and it was making her physically ill to not comfort her child.
I mean, you guys, I don't know what you guys qualify as miracles, but aren't these miracles? I mean, can we all agree?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, this is the order of life. This is God's hand in things. So my point in even saying that is, I watch those tapes. I get that same feeling when I'm watching it, which means it's the energy.
Amazing.
Okay, so let's just do a quick review, and then we'll move on. This was a great piece of, I thought, wording that came through when I was bringing this book out. So we're just going to read that. History has demonstrated how empires or world powers rise and how they fall, how they succeed, and how they fail. Every time they conquer, they find the need to conquer more. Eventually, what is conquered has to be sustained by the conquerors. Talk about imbalance. Imbalance in a culture always precedes collapse. This is Darlene. She's an example of that. She was trying to keep this empire of people going by trying to help everybody all the time, okay? And that empire collapsed, didn't it?
Right.
Okay. Talk about imbalance. Imbalance in a culture almost always precedes collapse. Empires fail, then balance is restored, at least for a time. Now what we want to practice is we want to practice living in that balance, which is what you're practicing now. Okay? But more than that, any of us who've gone through this, when we go out of balance and we come back to the balance point, we go through the collapse, the reset, the rebalancing, whatever it is, it's fair to say that because we've had that awakening, that consciousness, we never go back into it the same way again. We know something that we didn't know before, and we're more conscious of it, and when we see ourselves approaching that point of imbalance, we're able to say, whoa, yeah. Focus points. So, I mean, last class was pretty intense. We talked about a pretty intense topic. When we put death, especially in man's aristocracies, against man in proper perspective, it always allows us to stay in a place of healing and love and compassion for the highest good. If we take excellent care of our bodies, they will better support us in the practice, and creating and maintaining a healthy lifestyle enables us to be more present, open, and unconditionally loving towards others and ourselves. So, that brings me to being lovingly accountable with all of you, okay? One of the things I mentioned was the 3 basics. The 3 basics were, eat food that God makes, eat whole foods. 2 was make sure we drink our water. 3 is we need to move. So we talked about 2-quart water. So how many people paid more attention to how much water they were drinking the last week? I want to show of hands. How many people were at least conscious of how much water they were drinking? Okay. And how many people made a greater effort to drink more water because we were all doing it together? Yeah. Yeah. How many people felt the difference just from drinking more water and just hydrating their body a little more? Yeah, so we're already seeing some people that see a difference. Okay. As much of a creature of habit as I am, and I do things automatically, I loved being held lovingly accountable. I loved knowing that I asked you all to do something with me and that it reminded me to do it more myself. I loved that. I didn't see it, there was no guilt or shame around it at all. I loved it. It just made me remember that all of you on some level are counting on me to do something with you. So I just naturally drank the water I was meant to drink, and I also watched that the days when I couldn't, I watched that I was able to be loving and kind with myself and say, you know what, sometimes in our best effort, it just doesn't work, but we do the best we can. And the same thing with food. Did more people give a little bit of thought and ideas to their food, what they were eating? Good. How about movement? Did anybody increase their level of movement than they normally would? Okay, good. How about a little more movement? Anybody else just think about movement a little more? All right. Good, Don, David. All right, so we have some room to grow on this, don't we? I'm telling you, I've gone through many transformations. I've gone through many conscious incarnations with this work. That you must embrace these aspects of the practice or you will suffer, and it's not necessary. It's hard enough. Our bodies are accepting this ability and this ability to transform and heal. It's a big deal. They've been being told that they can't do this for a long time. Now we're telling them they can. So they need what they need to be able to meet that level of transformation and change. And the only reason I know this so well is because I went through it myself, and I saw the limitations, and I saw what stopped me, and I want to make it easier for you all to go through it than it was for me. So I'm not doing it to be controlling in any way. If we want to affect change in the world, we must first affect change in ourselves. Okay? That's a given. We already talked about that. Okay. Did anyone who put a little more effort into the water and the food, did you notice a change in your behavior? Did you notice a change in your personality, your ability to be calmer, more balanced? Did anyone get to see that at that point yet? Did anyone experience that? No?
Yes, I did.
Okay, start with Tom. Tom, what did you notice in your personality when you did those things?
That I was much calmer. I didn't let little things bother me. And we're watching our son's dog. And some things she's doing right now would have made me mad, but not now. Awesome. But I also have a better outlook on life and a better feeling for it.
Good. And again, it's not, remember, the food and the water, we're not saying that that's the reason. We're saying it's a contributing, supporting factor in our practice being as effective as it can. Beth?
I did the opposite. Stress I eat, and even though I'm aware of this, the addict in me is still in the stress, is in the eating, and I recognize that it makes me more sluggish, it makes me more tired. So I recognize what it does to my body, but I'm still not at the point that I'm willing to make the changes.
Okay, beautiful. And what's one of the best ways you can help that happen is by being where?
Here.
By being here. Just be here. Be here. Positive change happens when you're around people that love you and have the best intentions for you. How can I support myself in gaining perspective on violent, senseless tragedies? How can I move towards love? I think we kind of covered that. These are reflection questions, but we really covered that well in our last class, so we're not going to spend any time on that. How can I change the conversation of knee-jerk, normal emotional reactivity regarding tragedy become that which exhibits the teachings of practice? Okay, well, the biggest way to eliminate that knee-jerk reactivity is just to realize that change in a species happens over a long period of time when not practiced. We are bringing about an example of how fast can humanity change when it practices change. That's really the experiment we're all undergoing here. Allowing love to guide the process, releasing all resistance and limitation. How fast can human consciousness change when its intentions are aligned with the intentions of life? And we're pretty early on in our experiment in this context, but anyone who's practiced spiritual practice or practiced with me or been a part of the groups, or anyone who's even been a part of this group for the last 7 weeks, I think you can start to see, Kat's been a great example of that, how fast things can change when you align with what changes things.
Makes my head spin.
Yeah.
And then I drink more water so I can be grounded.
That's right. And there's a reason for that. You know, we're electrical, we're water, so when we drink more water, we can be more electrical. And as well, when we drink water, we strengthen our kidneys, and our kidneys are a wonderful grounding meridian. So that's very important. Flip it. Give me a page. Give me a teaching, my brother.
Page 113.
I want to hear other people read it now. I'm going to keep delegating on.
Try to stare at the night sky universe and accept it on its terms. Be ready to see not only what is apparent to your eyes, but also that which is hidden and far beyond your comprehension. Be open to messages and truths that come from a place you and I cannot fathom, describe, or understand. At one time, anything that could not be physically substantiated by the senses or understood by the human mind was considered the dark side. The dark created fear. But now we know that the dark, ever-expanding universe is the truth of things, not the illusion of blue sky. Think about this and practice amazement. Sit with the dark night sky as I did, smile at its lessons, understand the beautiful truth and humor that it is all dark space, ever expanding. It's all unknown. As you embrace the dark reality of infinite space, your intuition will deepen. As a result, you will become more comfortable with what you are a speck of matter in a dark and infinitely expanding universe. None of us will ever completely understand our experiences in this dark and infinite universe.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Don. Sarah, how much time do I have before we want to leave a good 10 minutes at the end?